What is up, Baggies fans, football fans, and sports fans in general, to a new video on the channel. And we're talking about pre-season. And the question is, should we be rewarded? That I'm seeing everywhere online. And to answer that realistically, no, I don't think you should be rewarded. But before we get into it, let's aim for 40 likes on this video. Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts on today's topic, and subscribe and hit the bell notification to stay up to date with everything we're doing on the channel. The season is coming to a start very soon, so I'm going to have loads more content coming out for you guys, so make sure you subscribe. Before we get any further, I do want to say a massive thank you as well. It was my birthday over the weekend, and we hit 356 subscribers over the weekend, which was absolutely fantastic. I never in a million years imagined we'd be getting over 300 subscribers in the first couple of months of running this. So thank you very much, and let's keep going on to that 400 number. And let's get into it and talk about pre-season. It's nearly done. Friendlies are nearly beyond us. And as we edge closer to the start of a new campaign, there's one big question floating around on the internet. Should we be worried? Because let's be honest, the results haven't been great. The performances have been off, and I know plenty of fans are already starting to stress. So in this video, we're going to break it down. What's gone wrong, what needs fixing, but more importantly, why I don't think we need to panic. This is pre-season. We've seen it before. Just sit back because I've got some perspective to share with you. So let's start with the basics. Pre-season is not about results. I know it's frustrating when we lose or look poor, the Lincoln game, when we went 2-0 down in 2 minutes. The truth is, though, these games are about minutes in the legs, experimenting with tactics and getting up to match fitness. That's it. Who can remember last season, we lost 4-0 to Blues, and the panic absolutely everywhere. Oh, we're going to have an awful season. We're going to be this, we're going to be that. Under Corcoran, we were top of the league for, going in for the first couple of months. We were fantastic. Okay, things started to peter off and he left and the season went downhill after that. But we all were panicking when we lost 4-0 to Bruges. Everybody was online going, oh, we're going to be League One, we're going to be cannon fodder. Don't worry about it. Don't read into it. Managers don't set up these games to win at all costs. They use them to test different players, formations, and styles. Mason is no different. This is his first time in charge of a club. He's going to want to test stuff. He's going to want to find out the players he can trust and the players he can't trust. He's going to want to know who he can rely on to do a job. He's trying new things. He's mixing youth and experience, putting players into unfamiliar situations to see how they cope. And that's exactly what pre-season should be for. It's a test bed. It's controlled chaos. It's not the final product. We've seen the story before. Plenty of times we've had pre-seasons where we've looked bang average, but the real stuff starts. We've hit the ground running. Many seasons before, as I mentioned, the Blues one. Pre-season was all over the place, and yet we stormed out the blocks once it matters. The bigger picture here is that how we do in the season. Now, obviously, I'm not going to say that, pre-season isn't something to look into. It's not been all rosy for us. There's been a few worrying signs. One of the big issues is how much we're overplaying it at the back and we're trying to be too clever in dangerous areas. And we've seen what we're struggling against a high press. However, it doesn't matter. It might work in training, but in a competitive match, that's what gets you punished. And that's where Mason is going to go, right, okay, we're struggling here. Let's work on that. Another concern is the lack of chance creation. We've had spells out of possession and in possession, but we're not turning it into real danger. We're getting into the final third and it just fizzles out. Either the movement's too slow or the final ball is poor. That sharpness, that cutting edge, it's not quite there yet. But again, this is what pre-season is for. These are the games where the issues show up and the manager can fix them before the points start counting. The Lincoln game, for example, we rotated the team at half time. Josh Griffiths was in goal for the first two. I don't think either of the goals were realistically too much to do with him. Maybe the first one, but he was being blocked off. He should be stronger, yes. But who let the man run free at the back post? Areas like that we need to work on. Stuff that we can work on behind the scenes and get up to match fitness and get working. Malumbi coming for his first game of the pre-season. He's going to be getting up to how the manager wants to play. It's all new stuff. He tried Malumbi and Moet. Next week he might try somebody else completely different in the last pre-season. Who knows? This is what pre-season is all about. The one thing I disagree with is booing at half-time, though, especially in a pre-season game. There's no need for it. It's pre-season. Get over it. You know what I mean? Absolutely doesn't matter. Okay, I understand you pay your money and you have a to opinion, but I disagree with booing as a whole. The players are already under immense pressure that we put on them as fans. So at half-time, if we're losing in the game, booing them achieves absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. It just puts more pressure on the players, and that's something that we don't need to be doing. We need to be getting behind the players and pushing them on. So let's talk about the context. You've got to factor in fitness and squad rotation. Not everyone's at the same level yet. Some players are coming back from injury, suspension. Other players haven't played much football in months. Some might not even be here come the end of the transfer window. That kind of inconsistency impacts team chemistry big time. And let's not forget, Mason's system could be really intense behind the scenes. It could be demanding. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes or how he's trying to get them to play. It's all new to the players. It's all new to him. Let them figure it out. Let them work on it. This is the big thing. We need to stick behind Mason. We need to let him, give him a season, give him 2 seasons, give him 3 seasons. He's young, he's hungry, and he proves that he's wanted to do this job. So let him be and let him do his job. No point getting on the team, no point getting behind his back. We just need to get on and push the team forward. It's not the finished product. It's a sketchbook. It's not a masterpiece. It will start to take shape once the season begins and once we settle into that rhythm. You know, you can't expect every player to have nailed it after 2 or 3 friendly games, especially not with the players in and out of the lineup and different tactics being tested every game. That's the big thing. Now, there are some positives. It's not all gloom and gloom. You've seen the intention how we want to play. When we've had control, we've looked composed. The Dynamo Kiev game, we looked really, really good in that game. Mikey Johnson showed some flashes of why he's still around the club. We've looked good. Isaac Price looked good in that game. We've shown that we can do it. And that's the big thing. We've shown that we can do it. In that game, we tested and we did really well. Next couple of games, yeah, we've lost, but let them just grow and find out how they're going to be playing. The patterns are starting to form. We're just missing that final execution. We're also giving young players valuable minutes, and you can see some of them stepping up. That bodes well for squad depth heading into the championship season, and it's a long haul. And when the core 11 is fully fit and firing, I honestly think we'll look a lot more fluid. Plus, Mason, again, is new. He's going to be learning his tactics. He's going to be relying on his second in command. He's not panicking, and neither should we. He knows what he's doing. He's using the time exactly how it should be to prepare. He's come out in his interview after the Lincoln game and said he's disappointed. He's not happy with things. That is what we want the manager to be saying. He want him to be coming out and saying, this isn't working. This isn't doing this. This player was this. We don't want him to just go, "Oh, it's only preseason, let's just knock it over." We want the manager to identify the issues and work on them. We as fans can just go, "Yeah, it's preseason," because it is just preseason. So in summary, don't read too much into the preseason. When should we start be worrying? When the real games begin. That's when the pressure's on. That's when it counts. That's when you judge the tactics, the players, and the performances. Until then, this is a warm up. Still the build up, still the grind to get match sharp. Let's not forget how things quickly can change once the season starts and momentum kicks on. One good win can flip the mood instantly. So until then, stay calm. Trust Josh Griffiths. I know he had a couple of issues against Lincoln and the goal against Blackpool with Callum Stiles, but let's just trust them. We've got players potentially coming in who can help with the team. Let's give Griffiths the benefit of the doubt and let him grow into that role. He's still a very young keeper. We have to understand this. He's still young. He just needs to grow into the role. It hasn't been perfect, yes. We need to sharpen up at both ends of the pitch. But this is exactly what these games are for, to iron out the issues before the real things kick off. Let's give the lads and the gaffer some time and space to work. Let's judge this team when the points are up for grabs, not when the sun is still shining and half the squad's still getting up to speed. Let me know what you've made of pre-season so far in the comments. Who's impressed you? Who needs to step it up? And what your expectations are for the new campaign. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit subscribe for weekly Albion talk, match previews, reviews, transfer chat, and more. As I say, the season is coming up very, very soon, so there'll be a lot more coming on this channel. Thanks for watching, and as always, up the Baggies.